Hello everybody and welcome to Data Engineering Stuff. Today we're going to talk about data lineage. So first of all, what is data lineage? Data lineage means that you know where your data comes from, you know when it was last updated, you know the sources, you know what targets, you know perhaps the transformation that were done on the data. So you have a complete picture of where your data exactly comes from, which is especially important if you have many data sources for a specific data product. So we look into a concrete example where missing data lineage can be a problem. So look to the left where you see two applications. One is like some customer management application, could be SAP, could be something different. In the end, it's just a database containing data about individual customers, like could be companies, could be personal customers or private customers, this kind of data in there. The other table, this one is the sales database. And this database contains simply the data of which items were sold, and it relates via a foreign key or via a common identifier to the customer's database. Okay, here we are in the space of operational data stores. So these are OLTP applications writing data. As soon as data is produced, it's transactionally stored in the database and immediately available for retrieval. So now imagine we have a data platform where we do ingestion by batch jobs. So we have no streaming ingestion, we have batch ingestion, and we have, of course, scheduled these batch jobs by cron jobs, which is the usual way to do like a cron expression. And now imagine the sales batch job runs at, I would say, 1 o'clock. And the customer batch job runs at 3 o'clock. Okay, no problem. At 1 o'clock, all the sales data is read from the operational data store, and it's saved to the data store in the data platform. So a more OLAP, a more analytical data space meant for big data, for example. The same happens at 3 o'clock in the night for the customer's batch job and the customer's data. And it's also stored in another, it could be another data mart, could be another AWS S3 bucket, could be another table, another database. Totally depends on your data architecture, but it doesn't matter for the lineage in this particular case. So we have not that really modern data platform where everything is like streaming and on demand. It's more like batch-oriented stuff. And now imagine there is a report generated at 2 o'clock. Well, that should be a 2. And it reads data from the customer store and from the sales store. And is then fixed, like could be some huge denormalized table, and some business users read, these are the business users, read from this table. Okay, now you might think, what does that have to do with data lineage? Imagine the following problem. A new customer, let's say customer A, buys like a new item for like 1 million euros. Okay, so no problem. At 1 o'clock, this new transaction is, with all the other data in the sales database, transferred to the sales data store. And at 3 o'clock, the new customer A is also fed into the customer data store. Okay, but what happened at 2 o'clock? At 2 o'clock, this join of customers and sales data happens and is fixed for the next 24 hours. And what happened at 2 o'clock? The sales data is already updated because at 1 o'clock, the sales data was fed from the operational data store. But the customer data is not already updated in the customer's data store. So if you now join both things together, you will end up losing this 1 million of sales that were done with a new customer A that is not already in the customer's data store. So because you have two data stores that are not synchronized to each other, you simply lose data. And now imagine the case that you have, at 4 o'clock, another job running, creating another report. And in this report now, all the data is contained. Perhaps this business user here, this guy, looks at both reports and totally wonders what's happening here, because in one report, a customer and 1 million euros are missing, and in the other report, the data is there. So how can the business user decide? Or he only can decide that there's a problem even if he sees both reports. If he only sees one of the reports, he won't get the difference and he won't see that there's a problem. So here Data Lineage can help, because you can outline in the report which data was used with which timestamp. You know that the customer data is from date A and like at 3 o'clock, and the sales data is from 1 o'clock. So you know that you get into a problem here, because you see that the report itself is generated at 2 o'clock, and you see that it contains data from the day before from the customer's batch job, because it has not already been run. So Data Lineage tells you which data is from which timestamp, and so you can decide if that is everything you need or not. And it really helps with the trust of data products, because you have really the history, can really trace down where data came from. And this especially gets important if you have many data sources from many different systems, perhaps where you have like similar data. Perhaps customer in one system is something different than the customer in another system. Perhaps the online shop has its own customer management. SAP has another system for customer management. And it could be important to know which kind of customer is meant here. And it's further important if you have highly aggregated data where you can't just easily deep dive into and check what's the problem. Especially the business user can't do that. So you see from this simple example, the Data Lineage, it's really important. And don't think that something like this is easy to track down. You have just 3 batch jobs here, and it's already getting messy. Think if you have 100 or 1,000 jobs, you have to visualize all the dependencies. And if you have the total lineage, you can track down, you can trace every data point where it comes from, and you will see in the final report how it was created, how up to date was the data, from which systems the data came, which transformation were done on the data. And that really helps business users, and it helps you as a data engineer in your everyday life.